Okay, all right. Welcome back to another session of Creating Art Over 70 with Science Rufus. This particular piece we're going to do is based on, I'm going to try something a little different today. I'm going to do a piece with a gamut map, figure eight gamut map. I've never done that before, which is a total different type of color schema. And then I'm gonna take this particular image here, this reference image. Let me pop my head out the way for a second. This I'd probably get into this one, but this little reference here is what we're gonna be working on. I can't zoom it in because I kind of got it kind of short, but we're gonna take these my two cats here, Playas Gato and Maya, and we're gonna create something from this. We're not gonna just we're not gonna just take this particular reference and recreate it on the paper. We're gonna do something like totally different. I'm thinking about doing this. Let me see if I can bring it up here for you real quick. Get my face out the way again. Okay, where is this here? Zoom that in. Thinking about doing something like this with them. I'm not sure if you can see that. I have to move this one out of the way. Bring this one up here. So maybe you can see it a little better. I'm not sure. But anyway, I'm gonna have them pull them out in Photoshop, and I'm gonna have them sit together. Let me find the other reference right here. This is what I'm looking for. Okay. Okay. This is the composition I'm going to try to create on canvas. This is the base subject, but around it, I'm thinking about using some floral arrangement. I think I want to have them sitting like in between some flowers, some blooming flowers, maybe sitting on, maybe just kind of hanging out on the top of a rock or something like that. And I'm not sure. We're gonna play with it and see what we come up with. But this is the basic theme of the piece we're gonna do this time. Um, I have it in black and white because I like to work. I really like to work from black and white or the grayscales because I can really see the tonal values a lot better. So that's why I have it set like that. So anyway, let me pause this. Well, anyway, I'll just pause that music in the background. It seemed like I was trying to talk over it. I'm not sure if I had my headphones too high. I guess I could adjust the volume. But anyway, this is what I'm gonna work with. I'm gonna try to bring these two cats to life on the paper. I'm gonna use this particular. I'm gonna get to this piece here. This is here. Move this out of the way here. I want to be able to utilize, get in here where you can see it. Get my head out of the way again. Okay. So where you can see, so you can see this. So this is the gamut mask I'm going to be using for this particular one. It has some yellows in it and some green, and some oranges. A little different scale than the last piece I did. On this side, it has more of the blue. Blue is more of the dominating color on this side, with a hint of purple and over into the magenta range. And this is turquoise range. I don't think I'm going to go that direction, but I want to work a little bit in here with these colors and maybe pop out to the blues a little bit. And I'm gonna use a high influence of the yellowy colors for the fur of the cats. I'm gonna get it as close to white as I possibly can, without. We might interject a little white here and there to really bring the value up to a level of brightness that I'm trying to achieve, close to white. So we might do that. But anyway, that's what we're going to be working with in this session of creating art over 70. Signed Rufus. Okay, so let me see if I can get back to this. This is a little thing here. I think I'm gonna have to do something really different here to be able to bring this image out where I can just have it in line, or maybe I'll just use the yeah, right here. Use this one so I can kind of see the values in it. I would be zooming in and out. You're probably gonna lose it a little bit because I scaled down the the frame on the recording in order to capture more of the painted surface, because this is a landscape piece I'm doing this time as opposed to portrait, and being a landscape, it's going to take a little more real estate on the camera face, so I had to scale down the reference view to some degree in order to accommodate that. So this is what I'm be working at. All right, so that's what we're going to be doing in this session. Let's get forward. I'm looking forward to this journey again and having a good time. Oh man, been doing quite a bit. Just got to catch my breath, but I'm still enjoying it and having a good time. I got a chance to do some Lightroom today. I don't really know that software, but what I'm trying to do is take maybe some of the pieces and run some prints off of them. I'm not sure. People have been requesting them, and so I'm thinking I might do that, and I'm not sure how to do it yet. So I'm researching that. So I was working with that a little bit in order to be able to bring the actual painting to a good color where that it would print. Well, the color's right enough to print, so where it don't lose anything or get washed out or whatever the case may be in the printing process. We need the colors to be, really dominant in the piece. I guess I'm not sure what the word I'm looking for. I haven't really talked to the printer. I just know from reading and Googling that you have to have a certain resolution and file format and all those things in order to be able to submit it to the printer. So I want to make sure I got all those things in order before I do that. I might do some tests with some of the online printing before I really go to one local. I'm not sure, but anyway, so I was working with Lightroom today and it was exciting. It's gonna be fun. So I'm gonna stop this here and get ready to do some painting. Put on my gloves. Get over here because we're gonna do this. We're gonna use some. We're gonna use some soft pastel this time. I think in the beginning stages, just to do some of the layout and get some of the forms in. I think I'm gonna try some soft pastel. This is all experimental. It's a learning process, and I'm thanking you for joining me on this journey. Okay, so see you when we get busy. Yeah, forgive me if I'm not saying a lot. This I'm trying to think this through as I go. It's always a learning process, and so I want to lay it out as close as I can in this first pass with the where the proportions are and with respect to the angles. I want to try to get it as close to that as I can. Just, very, very rough, loose strokes. And so, it comes together, and I'm using a very, very light color this time so that I could blend it in relatively easy with whatever color it comes in contact with. And so this is a different approach for this one. Normally I go in Most of the times I start in with the darker shapes, but this time I want to place these because I don't have a I don't have the reference. I don't have the reference that I don't have the reference that I don't have the reference that is the total composition of what I'm trying to do. Actually, I needed to do these. The belly part is what I really needed to do. One of the things I worry about when I'm using soft pastels is how heavy-handed I am, and so it might. I'm just go. She said I missed how heavy-handed I am when it comes to the pastels. You know, I when I was doing the last video, I was talking about how I hardly ever use soft pastels when I'm working with portraits, and I'm like I kind of just realized that when I was doing that portrait again. I was like, man, it's like I was trying to talk about the use of soft pastels and pencil pastels and pastels, right? But then I was mostly using those. Pan pastels, the pencils on the portraits. But it shouldn't be that difficult to work in, um, to the flow, the soft pastels in portraits for me. I just opt to use the pans, and it's really. When I really think about it, it's probably because I like to use paint brushes, and paint brushes, I can really paint. So that's why I like to use those paint brushes. I enjoy the painting process. So I like to use those brushes. Okay, let me see here. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop here for a moment. Let me drop this music here. Let me see. Okay. What I've done so far is just laid in the the forms and trying to solidify where the actual cat is going to go in the piece. And so I can see where they're going now, but now I need to sit back for a bit here and take a break and take a look at this and really understand where I'm going with the full compositions, because I want to, because of the way they're situated and they're sitting and the boundaries I've gave myself here. I want to um, I want to look at what is going to happen in the whole composition, meaning the background, what's going to be in the foreground. They're definitely mid-ground, and what's going to be in the foreground, but they're mid-ground, but in focus mid-ground. And then the foreground, I'm going to try to put some sort of floral arrangement, and then kind of not too sharp and crisp. Maybe a couple of them close to them, maybe a little bit more visible, but kind of blurred out just to imply depth of field type of a thing. And then in the back of them, I'm thinking about laying in the ocean, because when we go back to the reference, I don't pull up the reference right now, but we'll see the I'll show that again in a bit. Well, let me just grab it now while I'm talking about it. It should be just right here. Okay, so let's see. Can you see that? So this is what I was thinking about using, but that's not the one I was talking about. I'm talking about their reference right here. Okay, this is the one I'm talking about. Right here, you can see in the back of them is the ocean. But what I was going to do was, instead of putting in the houses also in this piece, I was just going to lay in straight ocean. That's why I had this reference here to use for that, where I can just lay in straight ocean. And then I have some flowers, some references, some flowers in here that I'm going to use to do the floral arrangement on the piece also. So that being said, that's why I need to sit back and for a second and really get a feel for how I'm going to place these items in the composition. Okay, so I'll see you shortly. Okay, I think I got it. This is what I think I'm going to do here. I think I'm going to lay in little some surface area here. I'm not going to make it to the table like in the reference, but I'm going to lay in some surface area. And then I think I'm start bringing up the flowers across the image like this and around, and then some in the background like this to imply on a hill, and then have the ocean in the background there to take up the rest of the composition. So that's what I'm gonna try to accomplish with this piece. Woo! Yes. Yeah, I turned back on the music because I needed to. I like to listen to music when I'm painting and I'm thinking. This keeps me kind of motivated and going. So that's what we're gonna do. So let's get to it. And when I paint, this one I'm really trying to follow the ratio, the golden squirrel ratio on this piece. So I think I'm really I'm gonna really enjoy this one also. This is one of the creative pieces, and sometimes me, I'm sure I'm not alone with this as an artist. Um, we want to be able to implement, our real creative abilities. Meaning, not just painting from reference. One thing I've never done is I think they're called air studies. Ooh, I watched some videos of some artists doing air studies out there, painting right there in the air, in the fresh daylight. I've never tried it. I think what it is, what they said, if I'm not mistaken, it was that it gives you a little stronger feel for lights and shadows. And maybe it has something to do with the movement of the sun, because the day changes. The days change. It's like on a reference, whatever time you took that reference is that lighting and that shadowing for that particular time is going to be constant as long as you're using that reference. But when you're doing those air studies, that is definitely not the case. It is definitely not the case. The sun will say, "Okay, you don't have it. Well, let's try this another time." And all I'm doing is just laying in some shapes that I see. Just the shapes. No real detail. Let's see if I can get them to. Playas, Gato, and Maya. Playas Gato, she has been across country a few times. Maya is the younger one. She kind of just came to the house one day and just stayed as a little hungry kitten. But Playas she has been across country a few times, as far as Key West, way down in the Florida Keys. That's the furthest she's been south. And she's been to the Grand Canyons, and as far as north, she's gone. I don't think we've gone past San Francisco north. But yeah, she's a traveler. Maya, not yet. She's still a youngster. She's still a youngster. She's still a youngster. And so, it's going to be interesting to see how it comes out when we do take that trip. You see, I work hard putting shapes in with the paint brushes and the pan pastels as much as I can. So when I come in with the pencils to refine the detail, it's easier because the shape is laid out, and I just start laying that refined detail over the shape. And that's how I'm able to get the blended colors, the textures, and the combination of shadows, lights and shadows in order to show the form. This is such a fun process to me. Just laying in everything with the paintbrushes. Well, I don't lay in everything with the paintbrushes, but I lay in quite a bit with the paintbrushes. And when you lay in the shapes, to try to capture the form, even at this stage, you start to see the forms. It starts to take shape. Yes, some of it has the hard lines, but it's okay, because this is really just capturing the larger shapes and trying to grab some of the form at the same time. I think these brushes work extremely well when you're capturing fur texture. Right now I'm laying in with a particular type of brush. This is the one I really just like to lay back and paint in forms with. And then I'll come in with the other brushes and lay in a little more of the texture. That's the beauty of it. I don't think there's I'm getting ready to make a real bold statement there, and I better not. But I don't think that, it just seems to me, I'll put it like that. It just seems to me your options are limitless with respect to what you can do with these brushes and these pan pastels. I mean, I know it's a bold statement, but I've really really truly enjoy using them. They seem to work well with my style, I guess, and whatever it is I'm trying to do just seems to come out. Yeah, I really feel like painting. I get like that. When I feel like painting, I grab the brushes and just start working my shapes and forms. It's fun. It's all about the fun. It's all about the enjoyment of the process. Okay. Okay. Turn that music up. I think I'm gonna call this a session. I think I got quite a bit of PG and Maya laid in. I took a break to get something to eat a little bit, but I think I'm gonna stop this session here and pick it up again tomorrow. Um, but I like where it's going. I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work. What I'm trying to do, I think it's gonna work. Yeah. Alrighty. So that's it for this session of creating art over 70. Playas, Gato, and Maya pastel painting. Painting with a passion. Signed Rufus. Thank you.